one of them might be, you know what, I'm just going to pull over. We're going to bring this thing to an end. I made a mistake, whatever it may be. But right now, we're continuing on. We're making our way southbound on the 405. The big plus right now, speeds about 80 miles an hour. At least they're not in the triple digits. And, of course, California Highway Patrol, they've got the job to do. They want to get this guy into custody.
So, Stu, we were talking about the spike strip that they attempted to do on this vehicle. That is rare to see on a freeway. I don't recall ever really witnessing something like that. And the success of doing that on a freeway, it doesn't seem like that would have panned out. It would have been surprising had that worked, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I give him a little bit credit. He was in that little, like a little turnout area right there by the carpool, and I think he kind of had to get into that carpool to jump out, and I would almost venture to say his other officer buddies probably were blocking the carpool so it was safe for him. As far as it being safe for the suspect, I think it would have been fine. If he would have hit those spike strips, would have taken him out. We've all seen it in the past. It isn't like in the movies where the tires explode and the car loses control. That really doesn't ever happen. Those things, the spike strips are designed to let the air out of the tires very slowly. Basically, think about a hollow nail. And they break off into the tire, so it just kind of lets the air out. So if it would have happened, I think it would have been a huge plus. And we don't know the right now is stolen vehicle. And if it is just a straight stolen vehicle, chances are when that van stops driving, that driver will basically give up as well. But again, who knows? Maybe the thief that took this vehicle or the driver behind the wheel, maybe there's other things involved there as well. Maybe there's other wants or other warrants that we just are not privy to that maybe the Sheriff's Department out in Ventura passed along to the California Highway Patrol, because they are staying with it, even though it pretty much, and I say it like that, is just, I'm doing the air quotes, just a stolen vehicle. A lot of other agencies, Sheriff's Department, they will weigh the odds and say, you know what, it's basically just a stolen vehicle. We'll let it go. When the guy gives it up or gal gives it up, we'll pick it up on the side of the road, and it'll be an impound and get back to the owner. But California Highway Patrol, they're staying with it, and they did ask for less than lethal weapons to be in one of the lead vehicles in the pursuit, which also to me is like, maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe they are, they have something on the driver of the car that makes this a little bit more enticing.
I will say that it looks like, whoever's driving this car is keeping their speed relatively low. Maybe it's because of the nature of the car they're driving, but it doesn't necessarily seem this person is driving erratically or recklessly. I hope I didn't jinx that.
Yeah, I don't think you can jinx it. I just say that out loud. But really, truly, I believe that the lights and sirens from the officers, because they're going full code 3. I'm sure anybody in Los Angeles knows what that means. So that thing is going off, wah, 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 wah. So everybody in the area knows that there is law enforcement coming. I can tell you that California Highway Patrol was getting the help from LAPD's helicopter. LAPD's helicopter didn't bail out, but basically didn't make the transition, and now the Sheriff's Department is going to be joining it. California Highway Patrol, they have their own helicopters, but they've got a large area and not that many helicopters. Maybe one of them is going to be heading out here shortly, but just getting a wider shot, going to see what's going on up there. Skyfox climbing down out of the stratosphere because we are on the other side of LAX, so we're going to get better shots of the chase. But right now, just kind of continuing on out here. South, it says so right there. We're in the Inglewood area, back in the carpool lane. So, you know what? If there's another California Highway Patrol that might be able to throw the spike strips, maybe it's going to happen. Maybe we're going to see it here in just a little bit.
Yeah, entering the South Bay area there, Stu. Obviously, you mentioned this started in the Ventura County area with Ventura sheriffs. starting this pursuit. Oh, and a little bit of traffic here, so we'll see if there's going to be kind of a pit maneuver or something that the black and white can do regarding this situation. But clearly, they're sticking with it. There you see a deputy right there. Let's see what happens.
It's going to be a heck of a throw. If he makes that, he show out. Oh, no. So this guy, look at this. He knows what's going on. He definitely knows what is going on. Yeah, I was going to say, if he was going to make that throw, he's got another career in his future when he retires. At any rate, continuing on, but take a look at that. They stopped the freeway on the northbound 405 just so that officer could do that. That is, it kind of shows you. It just makes me think there's something else here.
Yeah, I was going to say, because to stop all lanes of traffic going in that direction, to put down a spike strip, and then also to advise the use of non-lethal weapons, this does seem all too unusual, right, for a pursuit.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of little moving parts that are going on. That's just gonna, it smells fishy, you know. Yeah, I don't think this is just a straight stolen vehicle, and it just keeps, and it's just moving along. Was wondering there for a second. I was actually checking my phone. Is like the freeway is kind of empty again. I'm not sure if this is just the way it is out here, or possibly they're blocking some on ramps. But the idea that they would do a pit at 80 miles an hour, I find that very, very hard to believe. That van would probably start tumbling. It would be a big problem. So they're just going to stay with it right there. And also, we haven't seen them switch it out. I think that this is the same unit that's picked it up originally in the West Valley area, southbound on the 405, right around Victories, when Melissa at the assignment desk, basically said, go there instead of what you're doing. And we've been watching it pretty much ever since, and that vehicle has been the same one behind it. So they're not even switching out, and a lot of times they do when they start getting through different divisions. Again, we're going to keep with it. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to figure out what's going on. But again, right now, public safety, definitely number one for law enforcement. They're going to do what they can to bring this thing to a stop. The plus side, like we've all been watching, is at least the speeds are reasonable. I mean, it is a little faster than what they should be driving on the freeway, but let's be honest, everybody that's watching has probably gone that fast on the freeway on their own.
Stu, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier on when we first joined the coverage, but do we know if there's anyone else in that vehicle?
You know, that was one of my questions out loud when we first got here. It is a minivan. You can kind of maybe see a little bit in the back there, the light coming through, but I can't make out anybody else. It doesn't look like there's anybody in the passenger seat, that's for sure. And as far as the driver, I still really haven't gotten a good look. I was trying to look earlier on, and the best I could come up with, I think it is just a big guy. That's about the best way I can describe it. Seems to be a large male in the front seat of that driving the van. But as far as what's going on in the back, the light plays tricks on your eyes. It's like you see something right there and you're like, is that a lap? Is that a child? But I really just think it is something that's right there by the window that you can kind of see through the tint.
Right, you hope not it's a child, but clearly given it's a minivan, you wonder if there are other people in there, or maybe car seats, right? But hopefully it's just that driver right there. And thankfully, as Jen was mentioning, we don't see too much of erratic driving or high speeds.
Those windows
at this point.
Very tinted.
They are.
Very, very tinted. I don't even know if it's legal to be tinted to that degree, but it's hard to make out.
Or it could be the angle.
Maybe the light.
Actually, his window does look like it's cracked a little bit in the front, right? It's rolled down a little bit.
Definitely down a little bit. Yeah, getting a little fresh air,
and I
going
see the
out
hands
for a drive.
There. Well, his hands are on the 9s and 3s.
Yeah, driving cautiously and safely.
driving cautiously. And you know what? Now, again, it's like what can you tell from somebody's arms? You know, now I'm thinking maybe it's a woman driver. I have yet to hear them make a call on the scanner. Sometimes they'll give the description of the driver, but it does seem like there was a nice metal suitcase or a briefcase on the passenger side, maybe a Halliburton. But at any rate, it does seem like there is something on the passenger seat. I'm hoping it's just a thing and not a weapon or anything like that. And again, the California Highway Patrol not giving up and this pursuit continuing. And clearly, the 405 seems to be the freeway of choice. We've had many opportunities to transition to other freeways, haven't taken one. And officers from California Highway Patrol in trail. But again, are they trying to make a plan? I think they are. Let's see if it's going to happen. But again, 2 attempts for spike strips from the carpool lane, and two swings, 2 misses. Maybe the last one will be the one that connects.
Yeah, you wonder where the destination is ultimately going to be for this driver as he makes his way, or the driver makes its way south on the 405, clearly bypassing the South Bay, now going into Carson, and then options of freeways, heading into Orange County, Long Beach area, you name it. There are a lot of options, even San Diego. So hopefully it'll come to an end before that point.
Or runs out of gas.
Yeah. But thankfully, the traffic is light.
Definitely light traffic. It's always, you know what? It's always pursuit light when there's something like this going on as far as traffic goes. And the California Highway Patrol, I can pretty much tell you, when they start their tour of duty, as it would be, when they get out on the road, they have a full tank of gas. And you know what? That's pretty interesting. If this was taken out of the Ventura area, we didn't get a time. It wasn't like it was taken this afternoon or yesterday, but it makes you think also, how much gas does this person have? Possibly, we see that very common also. The vehicle just kind of gives up before the driver does. Right now, though, still staying at 70-something. I don't think they set the cruise control because
I don't even know if they have cruise control in the car.
Oh, I would venture to say a stylish minivan like that for the family, they've got cruise control. But at any rate, we'll see what's going on. Again, the lights and sirens are on. You can see that there are other vehicles in front of that car, and basically are continuing the pace. You can see it. Other ones, you can see the brake lights coming on, probably because they're hearing the lights and sirens. So they're like, oh, okay, let me get out of the way, like this little guy right there. I'm sure that's what was going on.
This driver has come close to a couple cars that I've been able to see. So thankfully, everyone's paying attention.
Just doing that. Yeah, doing the maybe a little bit of intimidation. You know what? Hey, here I come, and I've got somebody behind me that wants everybody to move out of the way. At any rate, hopefully this is just going to end very peacefully. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, no bent metal or anything like that. But right now we're continuing on, and we're making really, really good time as we're getting. I'm looking out the window right now, and we're getting into the Long Beach area here before we know it. So it is definitely moving, and the 710 is going to be the next freeway of choice it is the 710. So lots of choices. 405 South has been what it's been the entire time. A destination, that is always that big question mark. Everybody always asks, well, do you think they're going? Do you think they have I have no information on that at all. It might just be convenient. Maybe if the traffic got bad enough, they'll say, oh, let me get off the freeway. But right now, the roads are wide open. The drive seems to be good for that fleeing suspect. And California Highway Patrol, they're in tow. And they're working some other plans. There might be something coming up here. And they might be making maybe another attempt to try to bring this to an end.
Yeah, the freeway, we keep mentioning how it's wide open, and we're hearing that the 405 is wide open all the way to San Diego. So if this vehicle doesn't run out of gas and nothing goes wrong with the vehicle itself, it could potentially take us into San Diego.
Definitely the 405 to San Diego. I have yet to take a pursuit to San Diego. Today might be the day. But right now, we're keeping an eye on this vehicle right here. We're just taking advantage of being on the other side. But again, that tint's so dark on that minivan, I cannot make out anything inside that car. We are also staying up at a higher altitude again, probably because we're getting close to Long Beach Airport. Maybe we'll be able to drop down here in a little bit, but I promise I won't lose the car. Just kind of showing off Skyfox for a little bit. I mean, this is pretty much the reality where we are, trying to keep an eye on what's going on down there. And mostly it is because of the airports. Usually we are a lot lower than this, but of course we give priority or give way to any of the law enforcement aircraft that are over these chases. They have the number one, and we do what they tell us. But right now it's basically just a watch and follow type of deal. This is just moving along. California Highway Patrol, there they are. Same guy from the Valley. No, it's not. They have switched it out. They definitely have switched it out. Now it's a cruiser.
Yeah.
So they did drop out. So, we'll keep an eye on it. But where he's going, what's going to happen, I'm hoping it's just going to be a peaceful ending and it just comes to an end. And if this person has wants or warrants, hopefully they'll get all that sorted out. If it's something else, I definitely hope that person will get the help that they need or the counseling to get them through whatever crisis they're dealing with.
That cruiser seems to be getting closer, but still keeping quite a bit of distance.
I always kind of wonder if they have like a certain cushion that they deal with, or if it has something to do with the speed. I'd love to sit down with California Highway Patrol and talk about some of their protocols, some of their how they do things. There we go. That was the other attempt that I was hearing about.
Wow.
And you can see it never left his hands.
Yeah.
The vehicle's going to continue on. Yeah, definitely. So that's 3 swings, 3 misses, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to. Maybe we're going with Pee Wee League. Maybe there's going to be another opportunity here shortly. But I can say that just from their attitude or the way they're driving, and especially earlier on, it definitely looked like that officer wanted to do a pit maneuver on the 405 when we were still in the Valley. Never did, probably because the situation just wasn't right for it. But it definitely seems like they want to bring this they're trying to bring the vehicle to a stop, maybe not so much because it's stolen, but maybe more because of information they may or may not have about the driver.
That's right, because they're certainly not giving up, and this is quite a while and distance for them to keep pursuing a stolen vehicle suspect like this and attempting to pit 3 times now on a freeway, which is very, very difficult to maneuver and to do. But they're not letting up. They're not giving up on this suspect, and this is quite a pursuit.
Okay. The one thing that with the vehicles and things, they will be able to. We're getting more into traffic, and this is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they really get into traffic, they're not going to do anything with the public around there. There's no doubt about that. But if they have the opportunity, if something arises, like if that guy got out of the way quick enough and they had an opportunity, I'm sure they would at least try to bring this to an end quickly. I was getting a question about how long Skyfox can stay up in the air. We are usually the rule of thumb is about 2 hours. Skyfox can stay in the air for right about 2 hours. Anything over that, we need to start, at least be near an airport or have an airport nearby or fuel nearby. I'm trying to push in to see what's in that passenger seat. Definitely not a person.
I don't see any movement.
And now I'm wondering if it is a silver case. Yeah, not at all. And now we're coming to a little bit of a stop again, and I think that's because of traffic. But, this car just continues to get lucky breaks, and the lucky breaks are going to lead to what? You know, where is this going to end? The California Highway Patrol is not just going to throw their hands up and say, we'll just let you go. We'll get you some other day, especially with what they got going on right now. They are going to keep with it. And also the curiosity about what the original want is really starting to pique my interest as well. Mm-hmm. And again, I hope that this ends well for all parties involved. And as far as the California Highway Patrol goes, these guys, you know, you watch these things and you think, oh, you know what, that'd be so cool to be an officer and chase a bad guy. You know, it's a job, and it's a very serious job, and it has a lot of responsibilities. Pretty much that officer is responsible for everybody's well-being that's around him, and that includes that suspect. And it is a difficult job indeed. But right now, continuing southbound on that 405, we're getting into the OC for sure. Garden Grove's where we're at, and they are not slowing down, and the suspect not slowing down as well, but also not driving erratically, which is a huge plus.
So we've been on this pursuit now for about, 20 minutes? Do you know what time it actually began? I know the original want was for a stolen vehicle, but what time did it start? And it was in Ventura, correct?
Well, when the California Highway Patrol picked it up, I don't know. And the vehicle was stolen out of the Ventura area. So that doesn't mean they were chasing it from Ventura. It was seen on the 405 in the North Hills area. That's where the law enforcement originally, as far as we know, California Highway Patrol turned on their lights and sirens, and that pursuit started. And they stayed with it the entire time. As far as the time, I actually really think it was right about 11:11, and anybody that plays that game, you know, the angel numbers, that's the reason why I know it, because I saw it on my phone when we were starting up. So right around 11:11 is when Skyfox was made aware, and we joined or got in the air to go to the pursuit. So it's coming up on an hour, and the chase continues. But again, you know, if that thing has a full tank of gas, even a half a tank of gas, they're going to be in it for the duration. Yeah. And also, is it a destination? Maybe this person is trying to get somewhere.
And you wonder what that person, the driver, is doing. In this day and age, you can listen to the radio and hear what people are saying about this pursuit. Yeah. They could be streaming us on their phone and listening to us as we describe this pursuit as well. So we definitely don't give out tactical movements of law enforcement officials as they try to put an end to this. But clearly they have some kind of idea, if they wanted, to listen to our broadcast, to listen to other news stations as they cover this pursuit, and make sure that the public is aware of what's going on. But as we do that, the driver can listen as well.
You know, we've been covering pursuits for a really, really long time, and early on, I actually got all caps messages about, you know, giving away the secrets, you know, from viewers. And you know what? I'm not saying that it's not true, but and I would and almost would be honored if they'd be listening to us right now and listening. But the reality is there's a huge delay, and I would venture to say anybody that's behind the wheel of a fleeing vehicle, they are doing other things other than listening to a broadcast, trying to get ideas or information about what we are hearing and possibly talking about. I do guard my words. You know, when they talk about spike strips, I won't say exactly where. I'll say something might be happening, things like that. Just so everybody knows we're all on the same page. You know, Skyfox is just here to watch, but that has happened in the past. I find it, if you can hear a little bit of a glee in my voice, I always find it amusing that there's even the idea that that person is down there listening to us right now as they are fleeing from law enforcement for whatever that reason may be. The California Highway Patrol, though, we definitely went through another division as we watched that swap out. You got another cruiser there, but the pursuit continues, and the reason why guy is really, like I said, I'm kind of curious. In the end, everybody has all the agencies have different pursuit policies. I'd love to sit down and pick the brain of a California Highway Patrol guy one day and just be like, because you were asking about the cushion. Is there a cushion? Does it change? Like, if the guy's going 100 miles an hour, are we 5 car lengths opposed to when they're going 30, we're like half a car length? I'm really curious about all that information that goes into it, and that's what I'm always trying to say. This guy just driving, running from their demons. This guy or gal is highly trained, very busy right now. Yes, in a way we are, right? We're running from our demons.
Getting existential.
But this guy or gal in there making, busy. This person is busy, head on a swivel, keeping an eye on what's going on, making radio calls, passing along information, getting information if there's information being passed on to them. They are very, very busy in there, and that's, what I think a lot of the public, they just kind of miss that. They miss that point. They just think it's, 2 cars rolling down the freeway like it's Boss Hogg and the Duke boys. It is not like that in real life at all.
That's right. And interesting, this driver chose to obey the law and not go in the carpool lane.
That's so funny.
That and he's using his turn signal.
I was just thinking, I have to say, very controlled driver, right?
Now, we don't want to say responsible because he's absolutely not being responsible.
Right.
And by the way, sir, if you're listening to us on the Fox streaming app,
yeah, just pull over.
on the Fox local app, please pull over.
Yes, just pull over. Just pull over, bring it to a stop. I mean, it's been entertaining, but you know what? We don't want to see anybody get hurt. Things can change so quickly.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm also thinking maybe it's a little calculated. Maybe because of the times they tossed out the spike strips, maybe this person is like, yeah, I'm not going to get close to that center wall because there could be a trap. Maybe I won't see the next one. Maybe the next guy is going to be crouched down and toss it out. So it might be more calculated than we're giving this person credit for. But right now, the only thing we're giving this person credit for is, driving pretty much in a straight line. Thank goodness hasn't hit anybody, and also keeping the speeds under control.
All right. Well, Stu, we certainly appreciate you and SkyFox, following this pursuit. Thus far, thankfully, no one has gotten hurt, and hopefully that'll be the case. We'll see what happens, whether or not this vehicle runs out of gas or just the individual driving this vehicle decides to surrender to police. We are going to say thank you for joining us on GDLA Plus right now, and if you would like to continue to watch the pursuit, head over to our YouTube channel for Stu's coverage. And with that, we'll leave it here, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, so it looks like Fox 11 Los Angeles is switching over to another feed, perhaps. We here at Live Now do have their raw chopper feed, so we're going to stay on top of this while they switch over to their YouTube channel. What we're going to do is we're going to monitor this for as long as we do have SkyFox above this pursuit, which, as Stu mentioned, began in Ventura County, now making its way into the Orange County area of LA. So they've covered quite a bit of ground. And this driver, now that the traffic has been freeing up a little bit, we're seeing speeds of around 80 miles an hour. They've been traveling southbound on the 405 for quite some time now.
Just tuning in the first time.
Okay, so we have found the feed where Stu Mundell is still commentating. Let's get back out to Stu. He's live right now, still above this chase.
I am the camera operator, a pilot. That's going to be Dylan, is at the tiller of SkyFox. And there are other voices in my head that are not medically, there's no prescriptions to get rid of them because they are real. So every now and then, if I go off on a tangent or I start talking about something else, it's probably because I got somebody else talking to me. You guys, definitely, you're my priority. You're in my heart. I want to give you guys all the information. And what can we tell you? Is there such thing as a lackluster pursuit? I wouldn't say lackluster, but I would definitely say this is definitely going to be slow moving. We've been following this thing for about an hour, almost an hour, following it out of the North Hills area. If you guys are local, I can tell you we're coming up on John Wayne Airport. Basically been on the 405 the entire time. California Highway Patrol, they've they've gone above and beyond. They really have to bring this thing to an end. We've seen them toss spike strips across many lanes, trying to get some spike strips in front of that van. Are they going to pit it? Probably not at 70 miles an hour. I'm going to put that out there. What else is going on? What's up? Either that or we can switch to, you want to switch to saddle for a little bit? But if you want to do Santiago, yeah, but I know for a fact when we get past, I forgot what that, El Toro Y, we're gonna lose it, and we're gonna lose it hard. Yeah, call them and let's get Santiago, because they want it. All right, just. Yeah, just wait, but let them know that we should get into Santiago sooner than later. Tell them it's at their convenience. Okay, copy all. So again, there you go. That's exactly what I was talking about, us YouTuber folks. Yeah, I wasn't just having a conversation with myself, and what we were talking about was microwave, and we're not making popcorn either. It's how we get the signal from the helicopter to a mountaintop, and from the mountaintop into the internet, so you guys can watch it on television or on your YouTube right now. And mountaintops are, you know, there's different mountaintops. Santiago is a mountaintop out here in Orange County. And if we continue south into Orange County, if we're going to Mexico, you know, yeah, we are definitely going to need Santiago, and we might actually even have to make some other calls to San Diego licensed areas, that because it gets into, like, believe me, it gets complicated. Dylan's working as we are very close to John Wayne Airport, Pilgrim. And I believe they have aircraft on approach, so we are a little bit as we're going around and above what's landing at John Wayne. The pursuit, where were we? What were we talking about? Yeah, picked it up in the North Hills area, basically got on the southbound 405, continued on. Ventura is where the vehicle was stolen from. That doesn't mean it was being chased from Ventura. Somebody spotted it, ran the plate, came up as stolen, lights and sirens came on, and the pursuit was on. They have been treating this kind of with kid gloves, and now that we're on the YouTube and on the internet, I feel like we can talk a little bit more freely about the possibilities of what might be going on with that driver. Again, I have not heard anybody say on the scanner, and even if I did, then I would have to prerequisite that with, well, we heard unofficially there might be fill in the blank. But there could be something else going on here, meaning maybe this person is disturbed. I'm trying to think of a polite word to say, not in the best frame of mind. You know, you guys can fill in the blanks. It might not be just a straight stolen. And the reason why I say that is because of the way they've been treating it, the fact that they haven't backed off, the fact that they have thrown spike strips across, you know, across the center divider trying to stop it, the fact that they asked for less than lethal weapons to be on scene when this comes to an end. It makes me just think that there is more to this than, you know, this is more than just the average pursuit. That all being said, that also, you know, I mean, we've seen a lot of these in the past. It's never, quote unquote, funny. We try to just observe and make comments about what's going on. In this case, it's very little. We saw one hard swerve, and that was when the first spike strips were tossed out. Other than that, we've been in the carpool lane. Speeds have been in the 70, touching on the 80s at any kind of point. And Rob, I love you, brother. We've just been rolling along. I don't think that's cruise control, just because the numbers do fluctuate enough, and somebody might say maybe it's your, speed thing in Skyfox. I believe in fluctuation, but not that great. I think our stuff is a little bit more solid. Where are we going? What's going to happen? That is the big question. You might lose our picture here for a moment or two. I beg you, I plead. I can't bribe. But if you do lose us for a moment or two, I venture to say we will be back pretty quickly, because I might have to switch mountaintops. And I'm going to hold it off just because this is the first time I've seen that vehicle change lane. Oh, well, they're going back. They're going back. So we might be changing mountaintops here. There might be a little bit of an overlap. There might be a glitch. It's not the Matrix, I can assure you. It's real life. This is now. This is happening now. Let me make some calls. Let's see what we can do. Skyfox, TOC. Do you want to reach out to our CBS KCAL brethren, or should I? Yeah, let's go ahead before we get too far south, because.
All right, you're just listening in there to this here live now from Vox, as Stu potentially could be handing off the reins, as they are so far south near Irvine, California. You can see Lake Forest there on the 405 South. Almost jokes about this being kind of just in this rut of about 70 or 80 miles an hour. We don't see police behind this individual at this point, and the feed kind of going in and out a little bit here on live now from Vox. They're still somewhat in all of this. Let's just again dive back into some of this here on live now from Vox and listen back in, as we potentially could see this go so far south it kind of goes out the range for this helicopter. But let's listen in.
And I'll call you on the radio. Hopefully you can hear me with the back arrow. Santiago.
All right, just listening in there, potentially sounds like they could be transitioning into a different helicopter, different kind of wavelength to get this out to the viewers, but you can see kind of the shot going in and out. We'll keep you aware of all of this developments here if it does go out. It looks like all of our shots are somewhat frozen at this point, as this now chase extending several miles south. It started in the Brentwood Burbank. I heard Van Nuys potentially be the genesis of this, a stolen vehicle pursuit there in Southern California. So we're getting back in now, the helicopter feed, the Skyfox feed back a little bit clearer now. So we're just continuing to watch it here on live now from Fox, from this carpool lane, the 405 South, all the way down in Laguna Beach, their exit 2. So San Clemente, all of those kind of areas a little bit further south. So if it keeps on going, you will head all the way to San Diego. So you can see there, the exit to San Diego freeway, the 5 there, potentially moving that direction. So you don't know sometimes how these chases will go, how these pursuits will unfold in real time. But now, even so far south, that potentially could get down to San Diego. Sometimes these chases, they go in areas they are most familiar with. This one, not like that whatsoever, as it's just kind of going and going, the never-ending Groundhog's Day chase of a pursuit in Southern California. Let's take you back out, though. Let's see if we can dive into any comments from Stu here on Live Now. All right, looks like they're kind of changing that transmission, but we're not going anywhere here on Live Now from Fox. We're going to continue to monitor it, see what happens. The 405 South, you can see 2 in black and white police cruisers behind them. California Highway Patrol in pursuit. You can see there the emblem on the side of this vehicle, Highway Patrol 521, that being the ID of that vehicle, the other one moving through there as well. We did see several spike strip assets trying to be deployed, trying to slow down this vehicle. It's still going on, and you kind of see it unfold. If the tires continue to maintain, if they don't run out of gas, this could go on for quite some time. It's been going on right now for the better part of 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. Beyond that, in Southern California, as we just passed noon into the afternoon hours in California, as it heads even further south, just down past Laguna Beach, you can see the Irvine Health and Science Complex, Lake Forest, that departure, that exit. So, of course, they are now moving over to the HOV lane, the carpool lane. Police just keeping their distance at this point. So, Sky Fox is right now overhead this pursuit of a stolen van in Southern California. We didn't really get a good glimpse inside of who this individual is, how many people might be involved in this. It's not typical we see a van with the leading police on a chase in this way, in this form or fashion, and you can see the tinted windows, so you can't get really a glimpse inside to see how many people might be involved in this. Just the one right now driving the vehicle. We didn't have really a good view or vantage point if there was anyone else in this as well. All right, let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox. Let's listen back in, see if our Sky Fox team continues to cover this.
And I don't believe it. 12-12, everybody, make a wish. I don't believe it.
All right, Stu just kind of chatting there over the airwaves as they are kind of waiting and watching. All right, so this is just continuing on 75 miles an hour, roughly around the speed limit. So we did see portions of the highway, the 405, closed northbound to give police somewhat of an advantage so they could slow this individual down, throw some spike strips out. But this individual, aware of those, viewing it, seeing it before it happens and eluding it, avoiding those spike strips. The tires still very much in full gear moving through this area, the South Coast. So they've gone from Los Angeles County all the way down to Orange County. So, and potentially even beyond down into the San Diego area. So the I-5 now south, that will transport him directly into San Diego. So we are now kind of between these two, Los Angeles and San Diego. All right, so let's just continue to dive into this. Our Fox 11 crew, Stu, is in the air calling this right now. We're going to just listen in to see if he has any more context, any more perspective as this pursuit just continues to unfold over and over again and keeps rolling south. Let's listen in.
Stayed away from that. Yes, I do believe, you know, I don't have 100% information on that about the mental issue. I don't. I can't say that for sure, but just the way the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. But the whole stolen part kind of throws it out. It's like, well, okay, how did it, unless it was stolen from a family member. So, you know, Aunt so-and-so's having a bad day. Pardon me? They switched to green? We're in the green. You know, having a bad day, she took, you know, Auntie's minivan, and, you know, we reported it stolen. That, you know, I mean, yeah, is it possible? Heck yeah. You know, did I just make that up? Yes, I did. So, you know, we just don't know. And I can also say, for me, you know, I hopefully am never going to go through what this person is going through. If it is that, then, you know, a nice drive usually clears my head. I usually don't have the California Highway Patrol in tow, though. But at any rate.
All right, just watching this as Stu kind of talking about what's unfolding there as that feed somewhat goes to the black as they are so far south right now, the South Bay, south coast of Los Angeles into the OC, into Orange County right now. So we're waiting and watching to see if anything unfolds right now. But this was the Vantage Point, our Fox 11 team. Overhead, the latest details on this pursuit of a stolen van in Southern California. We're going to talk a little bit about what we watched unfold, hoping that now the feed popping right back up. So some good news in terms of that. So not sure what's going on. 2 police cruisers there behind him. You could see kind of Stu talk about.
Are you sure we're back, Kevin? Because it still looks dark on the YouTubes. Really? The YouTube's still dark. Darkness. Oh.
Again, just the shot going in and out, and that might be just due to the transmission of it because it's just so far down this coastline. And if you've ever driven along the I-5, it is very, very close to the Pacific Ocean at a certain point, significantly beyond this. So I'm not sure if that happens here very closely. All right, so we're just following this here on Live Now from Fox. Plenty of other news that we're getting to. We're monitoring it here, the Senate feed. Beyond that, and we now see stepping up. And we're going to take you back out to Southern California. But quickly, we go from West Coast to East Coast. Kevin Hassett now stepping to the microphone at the White House. Let's listen in.
Well, I think that when we studied the matter in the summer, that we thought that deficit reduction might be the best use of those monies. But we've had a big surge in tax revenues. You've seen even a big surplus in the latest monthly Treasury report. And because of the surge in tax revenues, I think that's a